Welcome into Brady's Breakdown, the Five Reasons Sports Network. I'm Brady Hawk, and I wanted to talk about Goran Dragic today. There's a reason why Miami's offense turned around against Toronto Raptors last night when Goran Dragic returned. They added another ball handler off the bench, a guy that can get downhill and flow into all of their offensive sets. They ran a lot more pick and rolls, allowing him to get downhill other than just utilizing Duncan Robinson to Bam Adebayo and dribble handoffs the entire time. Goran getting downhill generated so many threes for Andre Iguodala in the corner. Andre deserves credit for hitting those threes, but Goran having the gravity down low to defense collapsing down into the paint allowed so many more opportunities out on the perimeter for a guy like Andre Iguodala. So obviously Tyler Hero being out hurt that a little bit without having a guy that can attack a little bit more, but Goran took that on his shoulders per usual, getting to the basket, three-level scorer that can control the mid-range, but we didn't see that a lot last night. Obviously his first game back, he's going to need to get his legs into him. But that's what we're seeing. Tyler Hero coming back, who knows when he will come back, but as when he does come back, they're gonna need a push from him off the bench. Right now, those two are probably going to be the best backcourt backups in the NBA. Two guys that are just so offensively gifted that can get Miami going offensively into their offensive sets, as I mentioned, because Miami starters, Duncan Robinson is an off-ball guy that just runs dribble handoffs. Kendrick Nunn is getting better in the pick and roll, becoming a much better playmaker. He can control the mid-range, as I said before with Goran, but he is not the guy that can attack the basket and get downhill the same way that Goran can. So Goran's changing some of that. Jimmy Butler's a guy that can do that. The mid-range hasn't been falling lately, but it did in the fourth quarter last night. But as we're seeing Goran turning things around, that's just always what he does. He's a guy that can hit a shot when Miami's in a drought, when Miami most needs it. He's a guy that can get a bucket, and they've missed that lately, relying on Jimmy Butler getting to the free throw line. So once Goran gets back into these lineups, Eric Spoelstra had to utilize him, stagger his minutes in a different way than usual. Usually he staggers his minutes with Jimmy Butler. This time he staggered his minutes to allow him to play more with Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler just to get into a rhythm because they have not played a lot together this season. They've had to guys in and out of the lineups constantly that they haven't been able to play together. Goran's had the best offensive rating out of anybody on the team. Most of the best lineups all include Goran, and there's a reason. It's because he gets downhill, gets to the basket, and can get Miami to their offensive sets. But this allows everybody to get back into their roles. Goran can be relied on in the spots that I just mentioned. A guy like Kendrick Nunn can be the scorer that can now evolving into a different playmaker. And now everybody, Tyler Hero can get to his scoring. Jimmy Butler can just be a guy relied on to, get an offense going when Goran's not on the floor, get buckets late in the game. And Bam Adebayo obviously doing everything on the floor. So Goran Dragic returning means big changes for Miami. Miami finally getting close to healthy. Avery Bradley returning means Miami's bench is going to be the interesting part of this team. They're going to have Goran, Tyler, and Avery Bradley coming off the bench. So they can maybe run some things with putting a guy like Avery Bradley at the 3 going small. But that's going to be decisions that are going to be made up and coming. If Tyler Hero returns pretty soon, those decisions are going to be made, and they're going to be a pretty good offensive team off the bench for opposing defense to have to worry about. So this is pretty big for Miami, getting Goran back and getting him into a flow, breaking him in slowly. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching Brady's Breakdown. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment about any topic you want me to discuss next time. See you soon.